Welcome to Winning in the Shadows. We're breaking down UFC 305, Dricus, Plessis, and Israel Adesanya. We're going to go through every fight, give you some predictions, best bets. We're recording this on a Wednesday night. Frustrating, not a lot of totals out. We like to really talk about some of the over/under rounds, so we won't be able to give you as much as we normally can when we do these videos, but we're still going to pick some winners here. Let's start with Stewart, Nicoll, and Jesus Aguilar. Whenever I think of Australia and good fighters I want to see, Jesus Aguilar is the first that comes to mind. So it's a good thing we're getting him to lead this off. I actually think this could be a really fun fight. I'm excited. I think this is a job well done by the matchmakers. Two scrappy guys. Who do you think wins this one?
This is an interesting way to start the fight. Like you said, you got Noche coming up, but they stuck Aguilar on the
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
I think that says a lot about how they feel about him.
That's mean.
From what I hear here, Stewart just seems like the prospect that is brought in to win. Local guy, undefeated, debut, a lot of pressure. A little worried about how he's going to react to that. I don't think Aguilar is fantastic. I don't think he's super dangerous. I think this fight is really a lock to go the distance. I don't see either guy getting finished in this fight. I would lean Nicoll, just from what I've heard about him. Apparently, he's one of the top prospects in Australia right now. So, I would lean that way, but you're going against UFC experience to start the fight. It's probably going to end up being a pass for me right out the gate as far as the bet goes.
I actually kind of like Aguilar in this one, weirdly. I do. So what I see about this one is I've watched Aguilar. He's really been a dog, like doesn't quit in some of these fights. I mean, he loses to Tatsuro Taira, whatever. Like, round one, who cares? Does what he's supposed to do against Shannon Ross, which is knock him out in the first 30 seconds. I thought this win against Mateusz Donka was really interesting. Back and forth transitions on the ground. They're taking each other down. A lot of this fight takes place on the ground. And sometimes Aguilar would get taken down because he is smaller, but he was able to reverse it. Now, Donka doesn't use his donka to fight. He's a dumb donka with his fight IQ. But I thought Aguilar really did earn that split decision, and I liked his athleticism, and I loved his cardio. And I think that cardio and just that never give up attitude is going to pay dividends. This is a Stewart Nicoll that. Look at these finishes, man. Round one, round two, round one. I've watched these fights. These guys aren't pushing him. Nicoll is not being pushed in some of these fights that I've watched. Now, Nicoll's going to try and take Aguilar down, but I just watched Aguilar, get taken down and reverse and have good success on the ground. I think this is going to be a pretty nice wake-up call for Nicoll. I think all the pressure's on him. Aguilar has absolutely nothing to lose. He's fighting this top prospect from Australia in Australia. He can let loose. I think you could do worse on some of these underdogs here. So I'll start. I will say, if I have to bet this with my own money, it is over. It's going to be the over 2.5. I think these guys are both really talented on the ground, and I don't see any cardio drop off from them. And I think they're both really scrappy. I don't see either of them finishing the other. The only way maybe Nicoll gets a random submission, but I just don't see Aguilar getting submitted to this guy. So over is absolutely the way to play it, but I kind of lean. I'm not going to play Nicoll in parlays. I think if anything, it might be a little sprinkle on Aguilar. So. All right, one of our favorite theories is the work side hustle. You get to take this one, Kenan Song and Ricky Glenn. So first off, explain the side hustle theory that we use in these fights.
So I want to hear that you're a full-time fighter. I don't want to hear that you have a day job. I don't want to hear that you're selling some kind of magical cure for insomnia or whatever weird business ventures that you can have. I want to hear that you're a fighter. And there's side hustle, and then there's like guys that work a 9-to-5 side hustle, like our friend the plumber, Ricky Glenn, who is a plumber. We had the mechanic, right? Shannon Ross was our mechanic.
The
Fade the mechanic,
photographer.
great. Photographer.
We had the realtor.
The realtor was the best.
Realtor. He had a UFC fight, and the first picture on his Instagram was his business card.
Yeah.
Realtor is using his UFC fight to promote his realtor business. There's been
Look,
a few of them.
It's good business when you're getting up there and you're not winning fights. You better start planning for the future. There's no
We just saw
retirement
truck
policy.
driver Tim
Yep,
Johnson.
truck driver.
We had a truck driver fighting Dennis Colts.
Tim is actually probably on the road right now.
100%.
Right now. Got to pay them bills. Ricky Glenn, we're coming off 2 knockouts, first round knockouts. I mean, this has all the makings of just a violent short fight. So, yeah, I like Song in this spot. I don't really care about his record and his losses and his low volume. I don't care. All I need to know, I have everything that I need to know about this fight from Ricky Glenn. Now, he is moving up in weight. Hopefully that'll help him. He's thinking as far as being able to take a shot. But the problem is the rest of these guys weigh more too. So I think it's kind of like a end of career lateral move here to try to just grab another W and see if he can get a couple more fights. And I don't think the night's going to end very well for Ricky Glenn. So give me Song here. Give me Song by finish. Definitely fight doesn't go the distance.
Yeah, so I mean, Song's lost 3 of 4. I got to tell you, lost to Gary. He had moments against Gary. Max Griffin.
He did.
Max Griffin is tough. He's got power. Beats Bedoya. That fight was pretty good. And then he lost to Giuseppe. I think Giuseppe may be better than I thought.
Giuseppe is way better than everybody thinks he is.
I've
been on Giuseppe from the beginning.
I fell into that category. Now, what's crazy is I bet on him. But I was like, am I betting on Kevin Giuseppe? And now I'm looking back on, we're betting on Kevin Giuseppe.
Yeah, he's way better than people think he is.
Yeah, I have Kenan Song beating the plumber Ricky Glenn for sure. Mm-hmm. Tom Nolan, Darling, coming from Contender Series last season, fighting can I say the corpse of Alex Reyes?
Damn close, buddy.
The ghost of Alex Reyes.
I don't know if rigor mortis is set in yet, but he's very close.
The line is ridiculous. I mean, if ever there was a fight to get a hometown guy a win, it's this one. What are we doing with Nolan? Nolan, the minus 1,400 or minus 1,200 Tom Nolan against Alex Reyes.
I don't need to explain this fight to anybody, okay? You don't need a technical breakdown. Tom Nolan is a glass cannon. That's what it comes down to. He is the Jordan Wright of this division. He will either finish you in round 1 or he's going to be lazy and have horrible striking defense, which he has, and he's going to get knocked out in round 1. On the other side, we have Alex Reyes, who is just happy to have a fight at this point. I mean, his whole battle, his last fight, was just getting to the cage after everything that he's been through. And it showed because he made Charlie Campbell look like a world beater, okay? Listen, Charlie Campbell's okay. He's no championship level fighter by any means. I think this is going to be a finish in the first round. If it's not a first round, the under 1.5 is going to have my money once we get a line and a gauge on it. You can't play Tom Nolan at 1,200. You just can't. It's silly. Does he probably win? Yeah, he probably knocks him out in round 1. But Tom Nolan, we said it his last fight, defensively, dude is a liability if I have ever seen one in my life, and I do not bet on bad defensive fighters. It's that simple.
Not at minus 1,200. Now, is Reyes the guy to take him out? Absolutely not. But, with the way Nolan leaves his chin open, any touch of it could wobble it. So I would even shorten the 1.5 and just say it doesn't start round 2. might be
I don't hate it, man.
It may be minus 300 or something, but
I don't see how this goes 5 minutes. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know if this next fight goes 5 minutes, but I don't think it goes 10 minutes. Jack Jenkins and Herbert Burns. I got to be honest, man. If you would have told me after his last fight against Julio Arce that we would get another opportunity to bet against Herbert Burns, I would have said, no way the UFC is that generous. The UFC is not a generous company. And yet here they are giving us this lob, this grapefruit that we could knock it out of the park. This is about as bad as the Nolan and Reyes. Actually, I'm going to go worse. I'm going to go this is an even more layup for Jack Jenkins because Herbert Burns ain't finishing Jack Jenkins, and we know if this gets past the first 2 minutes, it's Jack Jenkins all day. How are we betting this one?
I'm legitimately worried about Herbert Burns in this fight.
For his legs,
Reason,
huh?
dude, look, Jack Jenkins has broken multiple people's legs. Like, who else has that on their record?
Hamed from from Contender Series who
I mean,
made us look
broken,
like
like
dunks.
legitimately fractured
Yeah.
their legs. Uh, I think Jack Jenkins is going to weather the first minute and a half of Herbert Burns trying to get a takedown. How many leg kicks is it going to take? 2, 3 before Herbert says, I don't want to fight anymore?
Yeah.
Not only that, we have no idea if he's even coming in healthy. The man has not come into a fight healthy. You know, that last fight, too, it looked like he had something going on with his knee when he went down against Erceg. So I
Yeah.
would not be shocked if he's not coming in here 100%. And this is just a closeout of a contract. Do the UFC a favor, get Jack Jenkins a win. Again, fight is not going to decision. No way in hell. This is definitely going to be an inside the distance, under 2.5, under 1.5. See what the lines are.
Jenkins round 1, Jenkins round 2 is kind of I mean, we full disclosure, we put this in
Mm-hmm.
a long time. Actually
Yeah.
within a couple hours of the line dropping on Jenkins, we put Jenkins in a play that's up at Wager Talk. We can't release it anymore because the lines moved drastically. But I couldn't believe when they released it around like minus 535. I thought that was a gift
It was.
from
Yeah.
the gambling gods on Jenkins. So yeah, Herbert Burns will quit. He will get hurt. He will get quit, or whatever. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we got a polarizing fight here. Casey O'Neill and Luana Santos. The floor is yours. What are you gonna do with Casey O'Neill and Luana Santos?
I don't know what to do with this one. My gut says Santos, but there's Casey's coming back second fight after that knee surgery. And we've seen the second fight fighters come back a little bit better. Now, that knee surgery, that knee getting better, is not going to help her basic striking. It's not going to help her bad striking defense. Um, Something that was pretty interesting, she spoke about her last fight against Lipsky, that after she got rocked, she just couldn't get back. Like she got clipped with something early and just was in a fog. Like she didn't know how the fight ended. She didn't have any recollection of the fight. So most certainly concussed. Was that a shot that really you thought would cause that kind of damage in the fight? I don't think it was. I got some chin concerns about Casey O'Neill after that. And I know Santos isn't the biggest power puncher, but she could most certainly sting her and get into an advantageous position here. So I'm leaning more and more Santos as the week goes on. Um, I just that durability could really be a problem for Casey O'Neill. She's never been somebody to avoid damage, and I think that might have came to a head in the Lipsky fight.
Weirdly enough, I've had a good read on Casey O'Neill, and it's been very strange. And we talk about this, and I really truly believe this. Jim will just get focused in on these fighters that he just knows how to read every
Yeah,
single fight. I get these fighters that I just, for whatever reason, have a good, and it works out great when Jim and I are on the same fighter. I have, for whatever reason, had a really good read on Casey O'Neill. I remember telling everybody, don't take the fight to go the distance against Baby Shevchenko. I was
hmm
like, and there was a finish. I liked her against Modafferi. I gave big time warnings against Jennifer Maya and Lipsky. I think Santos is the play here. I think Casey O'Neill had a lot of, I don't want to say hype, but it was kind of like a, not a cult following, but just I don't know. There was a lot of underground Casey
no, it was
O'Neill.
legit hype. I mean, it was mainstream hype. Now, when she burst
Okay,
on the scene, she was a girl people were talking about.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then you just look and see what's going on with her. And listen, man, some people just don't follow. Don't the knee surgeries. Sometimes they're just never the same. I really, really worry that that knee has affected everything about her. And Jim, you know, with injuries, it's not just the part of the body that gets surgery. It's the ripple effects throughout the rest of the body. I think she looked way better in this run against Lara Fritz and Shevchenko and
Mhm.
Modafferi than she has in her last two fights. I know it's bigger step up in competition. To me, she looks slower. Striking defense isn't there. And I like what I've seen from Luana Santos. Listen, finishing Agapova and Juliana Miller, it's not going to put you in the Hall of Fame, but it does show that she does what she's expected to do. Like, you're
Mhm.
supposed to finish Agapova in the first. You're supposed to finish Juliana Miller. You're supposed to beat Stephanie Egger by decision. So I think Luana Santos probably has the better ground game, takedown game. I don't know if striking is going to be a big difference, but you're right. Casey O'Neill and this lack of striking defense is a big, big concern. The only way I'm playing it is Santos. I would not play Santos by decision because she can finish, and we've seen Casey O'Neill just in a lot of her fights go under. Sometimes she wins, sometimes she loses, but there's an element of violence and submissions in her fights. So under could be a sneaky play. I'm going to lean Luana Santos. I have not bet this yet though. So
Me neither.
maybe that tells you that I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sold on it, and it probably says that there are just some better betting opportunities on the card. So if you guys could please real quick hit the like button while you're watching this. If you're enjoying the gambling content, leave us a comment, tell us who you like. And also, don't forget to join us on our live videos. We had such a blast on the Dana White Contender
A good
Series on
time.
Tuesday. Hit plus money live bets, hit some other plus money bets. Just watching the body language of what's his name walking out to the ring. We were like, nope, this guy's not winning. um, so we do Takedown live. I will probably be live for PFL. That we'll both be there for the Australian card that starts at 6:30 local time in the morning. I mean, just thank God it's not us. We'll be here in the evening, but imagine being Australian. You're like, wait, what time we have to leave the house at 4?
What time do you start drinking? That's what I want to know.
Whenever you leave
Carry
the
it over
house,
from
it's
the night
Australia,
before.
man. Yeah. So, but please join us on our live shows, and as always, we like to share just kind of some of our updates and how we've been doing this year. It's been a magical ride. We lost our official play at Wager Talk on Contender Series thanks to Ming Ding, who hit Hamid too many times in his ding and got a point deducted. But the dream year continues, plus 115.8 units. We've got some golf plays that are up. Those start on Thursday, and then we'll have PFL plays that are up, as well as UFC plays that are up. All those available at wagertalk.com. We've got a special. You can buy 2 months, get one free, or if you just want to buy 7 days for the price of 3, that'll get you all of our official MMA plays on a nice 6-2 short-term run. Doing well last 365 days, doing well in 2024. So kind of all the metrics are hitting home that we've really got UFC, PFL on the right track, and we swept the PFL card last one. We had every single play we put out for PFL we hit. So if you could like button and don't forget to subscribe, get all of our NFL futures, all of our PFL breakdowns, UFC breakdowns. Let's jump into Josh Culibao and Ricardo Ramos. What do you make about this fight?
I'm gonna plant my flag in the ground on this fight. I know it's a weird hill to die on. I'm taking Ricardo Ramos to win at plus money.
My man.
I do not understand the infatuation with Josh Culibao. I just don't. Every Culibao fight, we get duped into thinking he's a good fighter, and he's not a good fighter for the UFC level, for the top level. If I had to ask you, tell me what Josh Culibao does great, Mr. Lang.
Disappoint his betters.
About it.
It's like,
There's nothing he does that jumps off the page. He is just okay everywhere. I think he's sloppy. I think he gives up his back standing, which could lead to a problem against Ramos. Ramos is not going to stick his neck into a guillotine for the third time. That's just, it can't
are
happen.
you sure about that, though?
I'm not making a bet where I got to do something if he does, but I'm going to say it ain't happening. I think that Culibao is too wild, and he's going to give Ramos an opportunity to take his back. And once Ramos is grappling in his domain and on your back or in mount, the man is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous grappler. So I don't think that his skid continues. I think at this point, Culibao, he's just fooled people into thinking he's better than he is. He's got good cardio. I'll give him that. Is that going to be enough to win this fight? I just don't know. If this turns into a grappling match, I mean, you edge Ramos all day. So give me the person that is actually dynamic in one discipline of MMA at plus money. I will take Ricardo Ramos.
The big worry about Ramos is he's going to make, I'm going to say 3 gigantic fuck ups. He's going to do something stupid 3 times. and it's up to Culibao to turn that into, I don't know, a KO, a
finish.
submission,
A
or
finish, yeah.
completely turn it around. If he doesn't take advantage of those stupid mistakes, yeah, it's gonna be Ramos all day. So I'm with you that Ramos is. I mean, listen, if he makes the third dumb mistake, his camp's just gonna be like, you know what? It's not us, it's you. So you need to find another
You
camp
send him a
because
breakup letter.
we're sick of working for months and months and months and months only for you to flash knock out a guy and then for some reason insert your neck into his into his guillotine choke and then quickly tap. So I have Ramos at plus money as well. So I don't know if this is going to be the most boring fight of the year, but I think it's going to be the most boring fight on the card. Junior Tafa and Valter Walker, two of the. I mean, these guys have to be two of the top 5 biggest frauds on the UFC, on the US, with UFC contracts. I mean, I can't think of one. I can't think of very many nice things to say about these guys' prospects here in the UFC. It's pretty obvious they're hoping Junior Tafa wins, but if Valter Walker gets a takedown, the round's over, and he needs 3 of them. And I know that the rumors are going around that that's why Carl Williams lost his fight because UFC told him, stop grappling and doing all that, and that's the rumor coming out of Micaiah. We got a couple guys. We'll get to the Gamrot fight, which is going to be an interesting breakdown. I think Tafa's ground game is so horrific that you don't even need an aggressive takedown. You just need a halfway competent takedown, and then you just neutralize the power. What do you make of Tafa, Junior Tafa, and Valter Walker?
Should we just pencil in this fight to go the distance right now?
Probably.
Like,
probably
doesn't
right,
this
man.
check all the boxes of absolutely atrocious heavyweight MMA fight? I mean, come on.
It's terrible.
Oh, look at Walker's last fight against Bresky. Come on, man. We just saw Bresky get freaking annihilated. Give me a break. All right, Junior Tafa, like you said, the guy's a turtle. He just can't get up. He just can't. He can't get up. I mean,
No.
it's ridiculous. And to stand there and get leg kicked by Rogerio de Lima when you know that's what he's going to do, he just played right into it. Look at his win. His win, singular. Parker Porter. Give me a break. I think this could get
just took
two
him down
very
and laid
tired
on
guys.
him. Just laid on him. Laid on him, man.
Yeah. Initially, my reaction years ago for a fight like this was to play the under, and I've gotten very wise over the years to these big, lumbering, unathletic heavyweights. Once they get tired, just the finishing equity is done. Absolutely done. Now, Walker's cardio could look fantastic with these pictures circulating around, but we don't know what that is for MMA shape. I'll wait till weigh-ins till I buy into the Instagram picture theory, okay? And there's a lot of good filters out there. So,
yeah, I'm with you. This is a good one to wait until weigh-ins. Let's see what Walker looks like. Mm-hmm. If Walker looks like the bigger guy, he's going to take Tafa down. He's just going to lay on him. And here's the thing. Tafa, like, he has no get-up game, but he is a tough guy. Like, you're not going to ground and pound him out. Like, he's strong. He's tough. He just doesn't have the I don't know, the ability, the coordination, the training. Tafas don't work on getting up. They're like, if I can take it down, it's over. So I think it's probably Walker. But more importantly, let's see what it looks like. If Walker looks like he's going to be the bigger guy, then we just take it to go the distance. We've seen this a million times. Jingliang and our boy Carlos Prates, at the end of each Contender Series video or live show, we award the BMF award, the best fighter of the night. And then at the end of the season, we have 10 of them, and we award the BMF of the season. It's just something we do on our own. And Prates was the BMF of last year. And, boy, we're off to a good start with Kavanaugh, huh? Kavanaugh wins week 1. He looks like in the driver's seat for the year. Prates looked terrible in his first fight until he was winning. Do we just chalk that up to nerves, and now he's awesome again? Is that what we're doing with him?
Nerves, yes. And I just think that Trevin Giles is a tricky fight. He just is. He's not a world beater, but he makes fights close. That's what he does. So, look, he did what he had to do. and not just won a decision, put him out. When he saw the opening, he took it. Heard a great breakdown on this. That Prates, he's not a high volume striker. He's a sniper. And he almost brings the fight out of his opponents and makes them open up. And when they open up is when he takes advantage. Boy, is this a good fighter to open up.
Yeah.
I mean, Jingliang is a march forward, throw hammers fighter if I've ever seen one. The only place I could see Prates getting in trouble is if the leech ends up, going right to the grappling. But we've seen Prates be able to manage that. I don't think Lee's that good of a grappler where Prates is not going to have anything to do. Prates is feeling himself. He's on embedded. They're building him up. This is a showcase spot for him, no doubt about it. They know they have a star with this guy. I think this is just a teed up fight for him. Lee coming back for all these injuries. I can't buy on the guy. So I think this is another spot for Prates to just absolutely shine. And, his next fight, we're going to be seeing him at minus 500 opener. It's just going to get so steamed. This guy's going to be a superstar.
I agree. He's 2 fights away from being like the Contender Series hype machine. They're searching for these. What were they saying? Like when you put up the board of like UFC fighters.
They're running the Contender Series is running UFC right now.
Yeah. Which, by the way, it does make sense. You need somehow to get these guys from their current, promotions into UFC. So, of course, it makes sense that Contender Series is. By the way, we're only a couple years off of there being not 1, but 2 seasons of Contender Series each year. So it's kind of one of those where they brag about Contender Series. And it's like, well, yeah, if those are the only people you book, of course.
True.
Of course they're going to be from Contender Series, you dope. It's like when Dana White told Bruno Lopez and Mount, I'm not looking for 31 and 33-year-old contenders. Well, don't book them. Your name's on the show, you moron. So I'm with you that Prates is a star. I think he checks all the boxes. Got a great camp and everything. It's Prates by win. And we're going to do the Parlay Buster and the woulda, coulda, shoulda at the end of the show. Prates KO. That could be the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Guy's got insane power. I like that the not the volume, but the sniper. It's good. It's real good. So
that's him, man.
Yeah, if you remember who that was, let us know because I don't want to be accused of stealing it. We want to give credit where credit is due. Tuivasa, Jairzinho, Rozenstruik. Oh, I know that. Yeah. I'll let you go first on this one. What do you make of this fight?
Tuivasa has a lot of side hustles going on. He's got a lot of side hustles going on.
Another one? We got another side.
He's got an alcohol company. I think he's got 2 other companies that he's starting. That being said, I've never been a fan of Rozenstruik. I just haven't. I haven't been a fan of either guy's skill set. I think Ty is hopefully going to make this fight fun. I'm hoping, because if he doesn't, Rozenstruik is the king of boring up a pay-per-view. I mean, he's like watching paint dry. I've never been a fan of this guy's fights. I think Ty's going to get in the pocket at some point, and we'll see how Rozenstruik reacts to that. He tends to not react well when he's, forced and pressured. I think fight ends by KO could be an interesting line when that comes out. I don't see a submission coming.
Probably not going to be a submission.
And I don't see it going the distance. So this might be one time where I kind of go against our rules and say fight ends by KO.
Allow me to poke some just unbelievably gigantic holes in Tuivasa's resume here. So, okay, so he beats Rashad Coulter. I've been a UFC fan for a long, long time. I could not remember who that is. Cyril Asker, could not remember who that is. Beats Andrei Arlovsky. I might be able to argue that might be his best win because he loses to Junior Dos Santos, Spivak, Struve, whatever. Beats the legend that's Harry Hunsucker. Beats Greg Hardy. Augusto Sakai. These guys are long gone. Derek Lewis. Is that
strange
a great
fight? That was a strange
2022. Is that a great win? I don't know. And
it's not. It's unmotivated Derek Lewis.
That's what I mean, unmotivated. So And then just, I mean, he gets made mincemeat by Gon,
Yeah.
Pavlovich, Volkov, and Tybura. Um, I think it's Rozenstruik, and to be honest, I don't even think it's close. I think Tuivasa comes out and just throws some monster bombs. I think he gets tired. Rozenstruik pieces him up with the jab like you did Gaziev. I'm not gonna fault him for getting choked out by Jailton Almeida. That was a nightmare matchup. Knocks out Dawkins, all right. Loses to Volkov. Blades. I know I'm making the same argument. I'm doing the same thing that I did with Tuivasa. I'm ripping him for his wins and saying his loss. I thought Rozenstruik looked really good against Gaziev. I thought he looked really good on the striking with the jabs. I think he pieces up Tuivasa, and if Tuivasa doesn't get him out in the first couple minutes, it's Rozenstruik all day long. So Jairzinho is going to be the pick for me. Mateusz Gamrot, Dan Hooker. If the UFC doesn't want wrestlers to be winning, and if they're giving pretty specific instructions to camps not to wrestle, isn't Gamrot number one on your list as far as like I don't know title contenders or top guys? But at the same time, Gamrot's not changing his strengths.
No.
So
if he does, we're really got to re-examine everything that we do with this sport. And you can convince Gamrot not to wrestle. That's the coy play of all time. I don't think Gamrot's the same kind of wrestler though. Like he doesn't stop wrestling. He's exciting with it. At least it's go 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 go. Very intrigued by this fight more so than I thought. When I first looked at this, I thought it was Gamrot all day, twice on Sunday. I don't know, man. Something stinks. I don't know what it is. Something stinks. Maybe it's the time off for Hooker. He took all that time off after that broken arm against Turner. I don't know. It's the new and improved tattooed Dan Hooker or what is throwing me off on this fight. But the hairs on my neck are tingling for this one. That
I'll tell you exactly what's concerning you is this fight against Jalen Turner. This could be an absolute mirror image of it, where Turner's winning, and then Hooker, who doesn't give up and is just a tough, freaking guy, lands some big strikes and wins a close split decision. Gamrot gets clipped all the time.
Yep.
And like the recipe to beat Gamrot, again, you can go through and poke some holes in Gamrot's.
You can.
I mean, he loses to Guram. I kind of thought Gamrot won, but whatever. Guram, that loss is not aging great. Guram, we thought Guram was going to be the be-all end. No, he wasn't. Scott Holtzman, Stevens, Ferrer. This win against Saruka is by far his best win. Like, not even close. That was an amazing fight. Loses to Dariush. Barely gets the split decision. The leg injury, and then RDA popped him a couple times. Like, I don't know. It's not as dominating a performance as you'd want to see in this. And you got a guy that can't. He's not going to finish Dan Hooker. How is he going to finish Dan Hooker?
Submission is the only way.
He's not
but Gamrot's not like a.
Dan
that's what I mean. He's not like an insta back take kind of wrestler. It's very much folk style wrestling. It's not the Dagestani style of wrestling that we see now. It's old school chain wrestling. And I don't think that puts you in a submission easier than the new style of wrestling.
Yeah. I don't know. If you're looking for underdogs, Dan Hooker, you could do a lot worse.
Good number, man.
Than Dan Hooker there. So I won't bet this fight, but I certainly am not throwing Gamrot into my parlays. And I thought I would. When this fight, I was Gamrot's going. But the more and more I look into it, I'm like, I'm not really sure. So, Kai Car France and Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg was one round away from being champion after what was if you want to know how kind of short on talent there is in the UFC, never forget Gaziev had one fight in the UFC and then was in the main event, and then Erceg makes his short notice UFC against David Dvorak, and then a little bit later he's just casually fighting Pantoja and taking Pantoja the distance. He's the rightful favorite here against Kai Car France, who we haven't seen in a while. Who do you like?
If I was in that division, I'd be calling out Matt Schnell like crazy, because apparently if you finish Matt Schnell, you get a title shot. Never knew that was a thing. I didn't know he was the gatekeeper of the division. I do think Erceg's skill set is better than I thought it was. I will be very happy to sit here and say I was wrong about Steve Erceg. I thought he was about to get run through by Pantoja, and I hope it's not like the high point of his career is, hey, I fought for a title once in my UFC run, as he's teaching for the rest of his life. Just it's better than I would ever do. You go farther than me. But I think that Kai is a little bit overrated in this spot. I've had a really good read on Kai Kara-France.
Ooh, love this.
I've
Okay.
had a good read on Kai Kara-France throughout his entire career. Did not think he was going to beat Albazi. Did not think he was going to beat Moreno. And I bet on him against Cody. I bet on him against Askarov. I bet on him. I forget if I bet on Royval or him. I don't remember. But I've had a pretty good read on him, and I think he's a predictable fighter. You know what Kai does. He's a good striker, and he tries to keep the fight standing. Doesn't really have an offensive wrestling game to speak of. So I think Erceg is going to have the two dimensions. Kai's only dimension is going to be in the striking. The size of Erceg, the gas tank of Erceg. We've seen Kai struggle with this exact kind of fighter, and I think this is going to be Steve Erceg. Now, what worries me is I thought I was going to be slick. Apparently, everybody likes Steve Erceg.
Yeah.
So it scares me off a little bit, but I'm still going to say that Erceg pulls out this decision. I think Kai is going to stay safe enough, and this could be a real close split decision at the end.
I have nothing more to add to it. I like Erceg. I think his skills are just a little bit better than Kai Kara-France. And the one thing is, Kai Kara-France is just into his 30s. Erceg's a few years younger, and I know that doesn't sound much, but at flyweight, it's kind of a big deal. I think Erceg's on the way up. Kai Kara-France, I just think probably we've seen the best of him. It's amazing. Think about this for Kai Kara-France. If he wins, he just beat like one of the number one contenders that just fought Pantoja. Now he's right back in the mix. If he loses, he's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's lost to the top guys. So you go from maybe he's got to look at PFL or LFA or something like that. But if he wins, so it's kind of a lot on line. I think Erceg's just a little bit better. I hope he's motivated. I think he's going to be a nice addition to the UFC for a few years here in the flyweight. So, main event time: Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya. After this, we're going to do our Parlay Buster. We're going to do our Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. Our bet at the it's the bet that at the end of the night we just regret we didn't lay the mortgage on. So, but we got to break down the main event: du Plessis, Israel Adesanya. Who do you like?
I've been watching this line really close. If you followed us for a while, or as Andy knows, I just don't understand how Dricus gets these wins. I don't get it. It makes no sense. He looks like he's ready to fall over. He looks like both of his ACLs are ready to tear. When he moves forward, he flops on the ground. He falls over. He gets lumped up. And he just continues to win. So at what point do you try beating a guy who you don't think is that good, but you keep losing? I don't know if I got one more in me, but I just might. I've been watching this line intently, and they are refusing to give plus money on Izzy.
Mm-hmm.
The line has flipped. It's damn near even, and that is something that I have noticed throughout the years, that when the books refuse to give you plus money, they're very content getting that action in on there. I think the break is going to be really good from Izzy. I'm picking Izzy to win. I'm not betting it, but tell us, you have a great breakdown about Izzy and his career trajectory and what happened with him. So please tell the viewers.
I think this moment where Alex Pereira got knocked out by Israel was, I don't want to say supernatural or I don't know what the word is. I think that was Israel's peak. I think he summoned every bit of energy, every bit of karma, whatever it is. If it was a video game, he had a special move that he could only use once. Jim, think about it. knocked out Alex Pereira cold.
Mhm.
Cold.
Motionless.
Not ground and pound it. Not like land some body shots and land him. Summoned this one massive strike that put Alex Pereira out absolute cold. And I remember watching that and just there was just like there was
nuts.
it just took your breath away. It was just
Mhm.
it was a moment, and I don't think we're putting enough into that moment. That is an iconic moment. That
Yeah.
is Weidman knocking out.
Hindsight now with the run that Pereira's on, yeah, that's pretty damn
That's what I
epic.
mean. Who's beating Alex
Yeah.
Pereira
It
now?
gets better
Izzy
by
knocked him in.
the day.
Yeah. So here's the thing with Izzy, and I will give an exact comparison to somebody that we're watching in real time right now, and that is Shevchenko. That look at the run and the career that this man has had. He starts off in 2018 with Rob Wilkinson in UFC, and then all he's doing is fighting Vittori, Tavares, a younger Tavares, Brunson younger, Anderson Silva, who was old, Gaslam, Whitaker, Romero, Costa. There's no way he should have tried to jump up and fight. Yeah, that was ridiculous. He comes back, Vittori, Whitaker, Cannonier, loses to Pereira, and then gets the. That is a run that is so hard to do in the UFC. That is so much wear and tear on your body. That is so much mental energy. That is so much focus, and it just can't last forever. And I remember when you and I were doing our live show, when they showed Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya standing in the ring, I was like, there's something not right about Izzy. I just don't know if he has too much left in the tank. The guy's 30. I mean, the guy's 35. How much more can you give to be at the ultimate, peak? And I think I just remember that moment about Alex Perez or against Alex Pereira and just thought that was Izzy's peak. That was the guy that had literally tormented his entire career. It was the one guy that was the asterisk on his career. And not only did he erase all the losses, he did it with an emphatic KO that who's going to knock out Alex Pereira like that? Nobody. We're never going to see that. So, Duplessis, there's these guys that just kind of figure out a way to win. Can I give you a Vince Young comparison?
There you go. Yeah.
How does this guy keep winning? Okay, we know he can run, but he can't throw that good. And then, every NFL game, the score's 13-13 in the fourth quarter, and you're like, how? These guys just know how to pull out wins. And I remember betting big on Duplessis against Marcus Perez. That was a funny moment. And then, Tavares was a pretty good one. Darren Till, whatever. Brunson, that was when Brunson was at his, this time was done. And then he has that surgery. Remember the big thing about Duplessis? Oh, his cardio is not very good.
Yeah.
Has the surgery, and all of a sudden his cardio looks better. Beautiful win against Whitaker. The Sean Strickland could have gone either way. It was a really, really good fight. He's always got the wrestling kind of in his back pocket. And I feel like Duplessis looks more tired on the feet sometimes than he does on the ground. If he can get the clinch, get Izzy down, he's going to win big chunks of the fight. And I think that's what he does. My worry is that I just don't know too many people picking Izzy. But I'm standing by my guns that Alex Pereira fight was Izzy's peak. And I just don't think you can summon that much energy for too much longer to fight guys like Duplessis who are at their peak. So the pick for me is Duplessis. So
this would be a fun little head, Dad. This
is
good.
All right, let's do the Parlay Buster. This is the fight that everyone's going to bet on. We're here to tell you, may bust your parlays. What do you think? What's something that everyone's going to bet that's just going to murder him?
Scroll down.
Okay. You're certainly not going with Tom Nolan, Jack Jenkins.
No, not Jack Jenkins. It's got to be parlay. Josh Culibao.
Oh, that's a good one.
Josh Culibao.
Josh Culibao. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
That's
Ricardo Ramos was a 29-28 decision. When Culibao does nothing in the third round, except a lot of movement.
Except a lot of moving around. I will take Gamrot as the parlay buster. I think Hooker lands some shots early, frustrates Gamrot. Gamrot can't totally work the takedowns. Wouldn't surprise me if the ref jumps in. The crowd could be a big factor in this one. If Gamrot's wrestling and it's not going well,
Great point, because it's Hooker at home. Great point, man.
Yeah. So, parlay buster. All right, so that's a parlay buster. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. These are the bets that at the end of the night we're left there going, God, why didn't we just lay the house on that one? What's your woulda, coulda, shoulda? What's the one that we're going to regret not laying the farm on?
We got to get the line on Jenkins by finish. I'm sure it's not going to be crazy stupid. I'll go with Luana Santos.
Oh, okay.
Casey O'Neill comes out and just looks just as bad. And, the 8-1 rising star just manhandles her, and she can't compete in the wrestling. And we go, gosh, man, we could have got her under -200. Good number. I'll go Luana Santos.
All right. You're going Luana Santos. I'm gonna go with. Steve Erceg.
Oh, I thought you were taking Prates. This is good.
I was gonna go Prates by KO, but I'm gonna go with Erceg in that you have a guy that arguably could have beaten, not arguably, he could have beaten Pantoja, and now we're getting him at a pretty decent price against Kaikar France. This could be the one on his home territory. Like, this is kind of like a thank you fight. It feels like thank you Erceg for taking on Pantoja and doing your best. You got Kaikar France, who loses by finish to Moreno, loses to Albazi. Granted, it was a pretty good fight. You could argue that France could have won, but Erceg, man, he's looked good. He's
got better striking than Albazi.
It's just, yeah, exactly. So Erceg's got the better. I think he's got the much better striking, and I don't think Kaikar France has a ground game. So I think we could be sitting there looking at an Erceg dominant decision, going, God, dang it, why didn't we lay the farm on Erceg?
Kaikar France.
Yeah, we had a chance to bet against Kaikar France. The close second was Carlos Prates by knockout. Mm-hmm. I was even going to pick the method of victory over Leach, but the Jenkins and Nolan, those are just too obvious. Those are not ones that we. I guess Kenan's song. I guess you probably could have fit in that category, but again, I feel like it's pretty obvious. We made a pretty good case to fade the plumber. So. All right, that is going to do it for us for the UFC 305 breakdown. Thanks very much. Don't forget that the like button and the subscribe button, and follow all of our plays. Good luck on your plays, and don't forget, join the Discord channel. Just look up Winning in the Shadows Discord, having some fantastic free plays, great discussion. Crush the Olympics. I got to say, shout out to the Discord channel.
Yeah.
They did so. They all did so. These weren't even our plays. These were just like, people like, oh, yeah, you guys noticed the line's bad on the hurdles? Like, the hurdles. The caches. So it's a great Discord channel. My favorite thing is it's all positivity. That's my favorite part about it. It's people, uplifting people, trying to get better as sports better. So join the Winning in the Shadows Discord. Good luck on your plays. Don't forget to check out all of our other breakdowns. We'll have the PFL video up soon. Good luck, and we'll see you over later.
See you later, guys.